Hi guys, welcome back. This is Matt Shot, episode 312, featuring an interview with Olivier Madibe, the founder of Kero Games, the studio responsible for Aurion, Legacy of the Kori-Odan. This is a game that comes to us from the Cameroon in Central Africa, and it's deeply immersed and enmeshed in traditional African themes and folklore that I don't think you'll find in any other game. I was really intrigued by the Kickstarter for this project, so I got in touch with the developer, and I think you'll agree he's a wonderful guest. Now, I apologize in advance for the bandwidth issues that we've had in this video. I tried my best to work around it, but you know, it is what it is, so hopefully that won't distract you too badly, because I think it's a really cool project that's worth some attention. Anyway, he's got a lot to cover, so without further ado, here is Mr. Olivier Madibe. Hi folks, I am here with Madibe Olivier. He is the founder of Kero Games, and he's working, the team working on a project now called Aurion, Legacy of the Kori-Odan. So how are you today, Madibe?
I am fine, and I'm very pleased to be there with you in this very fun place on your, how you call it, your virtual studio.
So you're coming to us from Cameroon in Central Africa, right? There's not a lot of other game developers there.
Yes, we are the first professional studio of our country and global region, because there is Central Africa region with 5 or 6 countries, I think. West Africa. We are the first one in the Central Africa region. There is already some video game studio in West Africa with Nigeria and Ivory Coast and Senegal. This studio do essentially mobile games. And you have also a very good studio in South Africa too. But the major part are doing mobile games. Yes, mobile games for the majority. I think we are one of the first to do PC games.
So you've been doing this for a while, right? I think I saw somewhere where you had about 10 years. Your studio is about 10 years old. Does that sound about right?
In fact, the studio as a professional studio has 2 years. We started this, we entered in the professional studio the 3 December 2013. But as an idea, as a project, it has 12 years now.
My understanding is you were a big fan of Final Fantasy VII and the Breath of Fire.
Yes, that's the 2 first RPG I have played back in when I was 15 to 17. That was my favorite RPGs at time when the PlayStation 1 was the main hardware console in the market. So I finished Final Fantasy VII 6 times, and Breath of Fire just 1 time. This was very hard. Breath of Fire 3 was very hard to finish.
So at what point did you decide that making games is what you really wanted to do with your life? It's
a multi-step process, but the first time I get the crazy idea was when I finished Final Fantasy VII. For the time, I started to imagine I would have done the last fight myself, how I would have done the combat system, the story, etc. And when sometime after I played Metal Gear Solid 1, and I see the part where Rex, the Metal Gear Rex, was unleashed with Solid Snake and the camera. This was one of the most epic gaming moment of my life. And I started to say to myself, I want to make someone feel like that with one of my games too. And after that, you know, you start with pretty little game, but with already ambitious gameplay when we started in 2003 with some friends. And The first time I started, my idea was to learn how to create games, but to go out of the country someday and work for Ubisoft, EA Sport, etc. But you know, when the reality starts to crush you after that, you begin to work on other things. And some years, but I've continued to make games on the side of my main work and to learn how to create games professionally. And that's how some years after I see that when the indie market launched with the fact that we can publish games now on Steam, etc., I decided that I can do games from Cameroon for international audience now.
I wonder if you could tell me what gamer spirit design is all about, because that sounded really interesting. You were talking about it in the one of the Kickstarter pitches.
You are one of the first to ask this question. I was starting to think that no one will ever notice the word of game we do there. Gamer spirit design has two, the first one is effectively the fact that our games are made with the gamer spirit in mind. It's a game by gamers for gamers. So it's a gamer spirit, it's a gamer way to create games. And also, if you see our logo, it seems that it is someone who is meditating and reading some sacred scroll with the pad. It's because we want to create games with a lot of inspiration. We want to create them with African universe, but African story. But the challenge is to give them a universal wisdom, and the challenge is to show something that we want that if someone finished to play our game, even if it is a fantasy world, when he will understand the struggle of the characters, he may think, wow, this guy is frustrated like me for the difficulties of the life. He have the same struggle that I am. So it inspire you for your real life. The reflection we have on the games, that's something also the gamer spirit design say. It's a game for the spirit of the game too. So a game with a lot of inspiration, that's something we really want to put on beyond the brawl effect.
I love that idea. Can you tell me a little bit more, or tell me, I guess we can talk about the game world and all the fantasy and the, I guess, lore and everything behind this game. It's I was looking at the pitch video and the scenes there, and it definitely seems to be vastly different than the 99% of the other games out there. It's a really intriguing looking setting. I just wonder if you could tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay. If you see the logo of Aurion, the game, you will see on the top of the name there is this little mention, Kero Hotels. The idea we have is not only to launch a game, but to launch a complete genre. Some years ago, there was Dungeon and Dragon, which is a way to create games, movies with some rules. In Dungeon and Dragon, you always have to be a mage, a dwarf, an elf, etc. So we decided to create Kero, which is an African fantasy, but with some rules too. The idea is to create real history of Africa, real myth of Africa, real cultures of Africa country, Africa ethnics, and to give them universal, to extract the universal wisdom, universal stakes in it, and to show it in the very, how do you call it, actual media form. You don't have to do something exotic. It means that players from America, from Europe, from Alaska must see the game and say, wow, it's a good game. It's not a game with someone running in the banana forest, etc. So that's our recipe to create games, our recipe to create the backgrounds and the lore. You can see in the house of the games that we use our local village house, and we imagine if Africa if Africa will have 10,000 years without the colonization on another planet, what kind of science, what kind of world will we have? We maybe not invented the iPhone, but I think we will have invented the Kalu. Is some this. So when you see the Lion King, there is this thing that Rafiki got. We think that it will have been that with some hologram on it, etc. So that's a little bit the idea. And also, something I will say is that the challenge we have there is not to put African clothes on all games. You see, when you go to the press, you must say something like the game is based on Tales of gameplay, etc., with also the honesty that you don't reinvent everything. But if you play the game, you will feel that, in fact, we have our own signature. We push the gameplay, the basic gameplay of lot of game, but very far away, very dynamic. I think now we have made one of the most dynamic 2D RPG in the world. I have played a lot of RPG and I've never seen somewhere you can do all what our character can do. You see, that's also one of the things we had in mind, not only African games with whole mechanics, but create a complete new way, etc. Some can say, this is Street Fighter, this is... But what is interesting is that it is all of that with something else.
Oh, so what are some of those things that we haven't seen in other games before?
I can say, for example, that for an RPG in 2D, you will not have the... when you play the whole Tales of, you will have combo ground, etc., but you don't have aerial pursuit. For example, have aerial pursuit in Guacamelee, but without the fact that you can transform yourself and get technique like on the Breath of Fire, you can fuse things. We put a lot of things together for 2D games in an RPG, and also we got this thing when you fight your characters for pure 2D games, follow the angle of the ground. If you see the animation when he fight, he can follow the angle of the ground. That's one of the most difficult things in coding when you code 2D games. But we do this. We have done this. There are very few games that have done that because it was very hard in terms of mathematics. On the hill, he walk on the hill, but he stay perpendicular with horizontal ground, you see. That's something for the coders who hear me, they know that it is something very difficult to do because you have to adapt your equation for the gravity when you launch a fireball, for example. And also you should know that we have done the game with the homemade engine based on the Microsoft Xena framework. So we don't use Unity, we don't use Unreal for our first game. For a team without a school in programming for games, it was a good challenge, create an engine for a first game.
Hey, I'm impressed. I wonder if you could, I'm trying to learn more about the Kero and the African, the sort of fantasy around it. I noticed I was reading on the page about it had its own narrative style. It's on something called a sonorous rules. So it sounds like even the sound, I guess, is going to be sort of have an African component to it. I'm trying to understand this a little bit more in depth, I guess.
Okay. For the Kero African sign, you can, when, for example, the guys of the sound takes the challenge to create a Kero sound, the idea was to take African traditional music, but to mix it in an epic way. Use our local balance for when you see tam tam, the drums, etc. But to put it in epic melody and keep the African signature. That was pretty interesting and hard to do. For the visual, I think now we are a little bit mainstream. We have assets based on Africa, but we are still searching our own way to do colors, our own way to do. So the Kero is not finished yet. There is still a lot of way to do. Like we want to create something very new, like the guy who designed Okami said he will make a game with the Chinese ink effect based on that's what we will do in the next version, I hope. Create a very, very new signature. And what is interesting is that we want other creators to use this way of creating too. We don't want them to think that, okay, it's by African, for African only. No, because, when I played Final Fantasy VII, Nomura didn't say, if you are not a Japanese or American, don't play this game, it's not for you. So we want other guys, other gamers, other game developer to say, hey, I want to try to create a game based on African logic. I want to use this law. I want to use the skills of this guy. And then we will say that we share also something that America, Europa, Japan gave us back in time.
Yeah, it seems there's almost kind of a, I don't know how to phrase it exactly, almost a national pride sort of thing here. Americans, we've got lots of games with American characters. Like I said, the Japanese have plenty of games with the Japanese characters, but, I think, you're kind of in a new field here.
Yeah, it's because, when you walk in the street in Cameroon, you have a lot of black people. So it's clear that in our game you will have a lot of black people. But we put other race. We try a lot of mixes because the master of the hero is a mix of Arabic and Chinese. That's pretty rare in real life. And yeah, there is this national pride, and also when we talk with our brothers from America, the Afro-American, they are pretty proud to see that for one time in game, they are not only the thug like in Grand Theft Auto. There is this kind of complete new way to show that there is greatness also in African stuff, not only the poverty. We have this side of our story to show, and yes, we are proud to show that to everyone. But I have to talk about it because we have a little polemic some days ago on internet that was fun for us. But I have to say it, we didn't make this game versus other game. That's pretty sad that we have to mention it. It's not a game in response for the lack of black people in game, because I think the developer, at least the majority of developers who did games with a lot of white, a lot of Japanese, or a lot of blue people, I don't know, didn't make it with racist intent. Like it's a clear debate now. They made it because they are white and they do games like for people they see. So I hope that the gaming sphere will be more intelligent than that. I think we are gamers or geek. We are something that defines us is the rationality. So I very hope that this kind of debate will not have, and that people will say, is it a good game or not? And not only, well, I say, not, etc.
A little, about 2 weeks, a little short of 2 weeks left on the Kickstarter campaign. I guess looks like you're more than halfway there.
Yeah, I think God made the universe in 7 days. The Big Bang took less than a minute. We have time, and we have something, I hope, very big, which is coming. I think we will make it, and I will tell people that we have already been funded by investors to start the game and to be where we are now. You should know that the money we ask on Kickstarter is to polish it. Because if we have to release the game with the initial fund, you will not see a side quest in the game. We will not put some boss that we want to put. We will have some difficulty maybe to translate the game, but we are not asking money to finish the game or to do a game. Enfin, we ask money to finish a game, but not to start a game. Because there is a lot of polemic now about a failed Kickstarter or people who don't deliver games. And like we are in Africa in Plus, I imagine that some backers say no.
I'm thinking about the whole Star Citizen.
Yes.
Is that whole Star Citizen thing impinged on your Kickstarter, you think?
Yes, I have. In fact, it's another Midona, I think. It was released on Kotaku, I think, yesterday. Midona, a creator who said he's running out of money now after I get 200 times the 200% of his own Kickstarter, I think. And he said in this, what he said in the last update is, don't back a very low budget project. And I say, what? Guy, you lose. Don't kill our local to the others. Okay. But I'm sad for him because I imagine what it can be to feel like this. You take money of people and you don't deliver. I'm very sad for him. And if he hear me, I can say him courage. But if you can erase that thing you say on your last update, think to other developers and let them their chance.
Well, you've already had some success. It was greenlit on Steam. Seems to be getting a lot of great press. I even saw you on the, I guess it looked like a news channel there. So you must be getting some pretty good publicity, some good feedback from fans.
Yes, we are proud there, a little bit surprised because, when you make your game, where it's not perfect more than anyone. And we are pretty proud to see that hard gamer very have fun with what we have done so far. And because there is a public demo available so people can judge the game if they want to back, they can play it. They have to search on orionthegame.com. They can download the demo. We are quite famous for an African game already. It gives us a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility too, because if you manage to be the first one with success, you open the way for a new industry on your continent. That's hard on the shoulder, but also very, very much epic. So, we are pretty proud to be there.
We haven't really talked much about the story of the game. I don't know if there's I don't know if you want to give this too much away, but I was reading. I like the story so far with Enzo. Was it Aaron or Eron? How do you say her name?
Aaron.
Yes, so you've got a prince, and it's not the typical sort of rescue the princess storyline here, right?
Yeah. In fact, in the game, you play as Enzo, King of Zama, because when the game starts, he's a prince, but you start the game the day where he must be king. He must be coronated king, and he decided with his wife to fuse the ceremony so they get their marriage and they start to be king and queen. And in Africa, we have a lot of story recently. If you see our story, the 30 last years, you will see that we have a lot of coup d'etat. Always a friend of the guy, always the brother, always someone in your close circle. So we put it in the game with the fact that this is your brother-in-law who come and take the power with force and exile you. So that's how the game begins, and they have to travel around the world of the game to find help and become more stronger to get that thrones. But what will be very interesting is that effectively you don't have to save your princess or to build a love relation like in classic Japan RPG or RPG with the love. No, I don't love him. Is it love him? No. We wanted to make it clear from the beginning they are married. So yes, when you sleep in the game with your wife, okay, pass. Okay, they are married, and also we didn't want to have the classic hero who don't know his parent. No, Inzo is a king. He know well his parent. He know where he's coming from, and something that player will find interesting is that you will not have a story based on the prophecy, a story based on chosen one. You will not even have a story based on the, elemental temple where you go take the stones for the process prophecy to become stronger. You will not have the temple where you must go to train yourself and become stronger. No, we have find our own way to define the strength and how you must become stronger. It's in fact a real inner voyage for them because your Aurion depend on who you are and how you see the world. So the more the character know himself, the more its Aurion is unlocked. For this game, it will be very linear. I admit it. You will not have, free choice. It will be a linear RPG because it's our first game. We cannot, alas, with all we have to do with the battle system, we didn't have time and to manage to create, open world, free choice. We will do it in some next version of our universe if the first one hits success. But you see that it's a very new way to create story, and it opened a very large new way to create thrills, etc.
I just want to wrap up though. One last thing here. I was curious about this. Maybe this is. I hope this part hasn't been scrapped as well. But there was a description of a world with 6 different continents, or maybe it's yeah, there it is. It's made up of 6 continents. This world, right? And each continent has a different ethnic group, and they're all connected with some quote unquote horrible history. Just wondering, is this sort of based on real life, the sort of real life politics, or what?
Yeah, when I dig a little bit about the African story before colonization and the story of ethnic group, we have a lot of phase where we have a lot of nomad phase where some group move to a place to another, and a lot of inner war with a lot of genocides, little genocide, no massive ones like in Second War. No, we have a little genocide. We had also this kind of thing between 2 ethnic groups where you have, when your grandfather say the grandfather of the other guys kill your grandmother, that kind of thing. So yeah, the tribes on the game are connected by a very, very hard past, and that kind of hate-based generation by generation. And then you have the Aurion who is connected to your ancestor, so you can imagine how it is connected to you, who you are now in the game, etc. But what will be interesting is that the main character discovered this. Is pretty outside of the main world when the game started.
Well, sounds great. But even now, is there anything that you wanted to mention about the game that we haven't covered?
I will say something on the Erin, the wife of the hero. The first idea we have it was to make up full playable. We wanted the player to switch between Enzo and Erin, but always due to limitation of time and our perf, well, we always want to make so much. We put a lot of things to Enzo. I think we will maybe break the record of the most skilled hero in an RPG. Just a number. You see, Enzo have 21 Aurionic transformation. Each Aurionic transformation gives you access to three skills in action RPG. So you have 66 skills for only one character. So when you know that we have designed it not on the vector animation like the new 2D games, but with the old-fashioned way, sprite by sprite, you can imagine the work we put on it with the dynamism that you see when you play the game. So when it was time to create Erin, we don't have enough time. And also I have this thing that she is very beautiful, she is too classy. I don't want her to be punched because when you fight in the game, you will see that the enemies are pretty violent. So I don't want her to be punched. So I decided to put a narcissist character. And, when she get hit, she get this protection field around, which can be crushed by the enemy, and she's teleported away to rest a little bit. That's something. But also, even if we a little bit downgrade a participant in battle, we upgrade our place in the story. You will have this feeling that their couple is a normal couple. You will not have the Disney effect of the love, the perfect love in front of everything. No, they have disputes. They have problem. They have, this time where you, the man, you are too protective, and the girl say, "I am grown up. Don't talk me like a child." This kind of thing. You see, there are times in the game where it is Enzo who is the more stronger when she is distressed, and also the other fact when him don't trust in him anymore, and she is the strongest one. That's something we really want to put on a normal couple in face of great challenge. And to finish, because it's a character I really put a lot of me to work on her. Is how she is dressed. If you remark, we don't put a breast out or a little teeny skirt, because even before the large debate on the sex, the girl in games, woman in games, we already had in our mind the idea that we don't want an heroine who will be naive, who will be just, the shy girl for the big muscular. We want a real wife to show what it means to be a powerful woman with woman force. And we also wanted to give her some kind of sexy, but with very noblesse. So she is dressed in dark and all covered, only the hips. We show only a little part of the hips because, the hips is something particular for the African beauty for a woman. We love large hips there. So we leave the hips a little bit new to show that that's something sexy for us.
And that's all for this week's episode. Should see you guys next week. Probably be jumping right into my next interview series with Jordan Weissman of Harebrained Schemes. I know I owe you guys a retrospective, but I think I'd like to get that out before that Kickstarter's over as well. In case you're not aware of this, so there's a BattleTech Kickstarter project out right now. It's absolutely awesome. They've already made their goal, but it's still not too late if you'd like to jump in there and grab some cool pledge rewards. So I'll post a link to that in the show notes. As always, I want to thank you for your support of the show. It is amazing, guys. Thank you so much for that. If you would like to step up to the plate and support Matt Chat, just go to the Patreon link in the show notes. And remember, guys, any amount, $1, $2, $5, whatever you can afford and you think the show is worth, thank you very, very much. Well, let's see. What about that news from the Matt Cave? Well, it hasn't been that long ago since I did the last show, so there's not a lot of news, but something here is kind of cool. This was sent in by Adam of the Fragments of Silicon Fragments of Silicon I don't know how to say that. Fragments of Silicon podcast. It's a game called Age of Decadence. This is a game, it's a turn-based isometric role-playing game. It's on Steam and GOG, and it's known for being very difficult. So everybody that's been complaining about the hand-holding in too many modern games would be interested here. It is set in the fall of the Roman Empire, and I have to admit, although it looks interesting, I haven't had a chance to play it myself yet, so if you have, please let me know what you think. I think that's about all the news I have for you this time. What about that ale of the week? This week I've got a Big Rick, gotta be careful how you say that, Russian Imperial Stout with coffee and chocolate. So not my normal kind of thing, but old Reese down there at the Coburn's Liquor Store assured me this was a delicious choice. I love the can art here. Huge guy on a motorcycle, big flames coming out of it. It's another one from Tallgrass Brewing Company out of Manhattan, Kansas. 10.5% alcohol by volume, so definitely on the strong side. Another one of their Explorer series. So I like Russian Imperial Stouts. I do like coffee and chocolate, so let's get this open and see what it's all about. All right, so I got some of this Big Rick here in the rather excellent drinking horn. This one really smells really nice. It's kind of like you walked into a chocolate shop that also sells gourmet coffee. It's just a wonderful aroma on this. Really makes you want to drink it as soon as you smell this. So, let's give it a taste. It's very sweet. You definitely taste that sort of chocolatey, almost a chocolate milk-like flavor to it. Maybe a little bit of that coffee flavor, but I'm really just mostly tasting a chocolatey flavor. I'll try it again. You know, this is damn good. It's just a really sweet, delicious, smooth. Even though it's got 10.5% alcohol, you barely taste that. There's no sort of alcoholic fumes or kickback here. It's actually just a really nice, smooth brew. It smells good. You know, I'm just really, really liking this. I'll try it one more time here. Yeah, just exceptional stuff here. A really good flavor on this, not bitter. A nice chocolatey taste, a nice little bit of a coffee flavor to it. It's thick and creamy and sweet, and you don't really taste alcohol. You know, how can you go wrong with this? I'll go a full 5 out of 5 drinking horns on this, the Big Rick. Even though I don't normally go for sort of flavored beers like this, this one is an exception. Really, really tasty and highly recommended. All right, so let's wrap this up with a quotation. And for the quotation this week, I was looking for African proverbs. You know, there's a lot of those, and they're always very insightful, and they get you to think. But this one I thought was really appropriate for this video, and it goes something like this. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. See you guys next week.